Wow. Hi guys, this is your girl Takayla. I do not know how long I am going to be because I truly got on this video without really any notes, any scriptures. I do not know what I'm going to talk about, but as the Holy Spirit leads me to teach and give you all a message. Y'all see little Lummy in the back, girl? He over there chilling. I miss my real dog, Napoleon. That's the only reason I bought that stuffed animal. I'm so used to cuddling with Napoleon at night that I literally went to Walmart and bought me a llama. Lord Jesus, pray for me. I miss my dog. But anyway, I don't really have any notes. Like, I really don't. Let me let this down because my hair look correct right now. Okay. I truly don't have any notes or really anything that I'm just like, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to do this. I wanted to talk about love. I actually wanted to talk about love yesterday. But I wasn't able to. So today I wanted to talk about, I guess, love, but more in a prophetic sense to just give you ladies and single men some hope. I want to start here. Holy Spirit, lead me and guide me in the way that I should go. I don't want to say anything that's not of you, only you. I want to start here. The love that's coming to you and for you is coming from God. Y'all hearing me? The love that's coming to you and for you is going to be from God. And I just want to give you a few signs of how you're going to know the difference between a love that you went out and got and a love that was actually sent and sanctioned by heaven to come alongside you and assist you in the will of God as you both go from glory to glory. There's a difference. So the love that's coming from God is not going to be a maybe. That's the first one. It's not going to be a maybe. It's not going to be a sometime love. It's not going to be, I like you today and then I like another person tomorrow. It's not going to be confusing. It's not going to be hot and cold. It's not going to be, I'm treating you good today and then I'm ignoring you tomorrow. It's going to be a definite. It's going to be definite. And the reason why it's going to be definite is because this person, God is already going to put them in your heart. He's already going to place them in your spirit so that when the two of you click and finally get together, it's just going to be like, bam, sparks, heaven. And I don't want to just give you guys a false hope, but God was really showing me that when something is ordained, he's going to blow on that thing. So you won't be in states of confusion. Okay, so I just want to get that out there. That's the first one. The love that God has for you will never be a maybe. It won't be a sometime type of love. It's going to be a definite, and it's coming with surety, because I've said, y'all have heard me say this a lot of times before, but love is a lot of things, but one thing that it never is unsure. So that's the first thing. The love that God has for you is going to be a definite. Number two, the love that God has for you is going to give you the same energy that you give to it. Okay? You're not going to be texting and calling and, hold on, let me cut this light out. You're not going to be texting and calling and trying to hook up with this person, trying to meet with this person, trying to go out with this person, trying to just do all of these things with this person, and then it's a one-way street. It's only you. You're the only one who wants this relationship. You're the only one that's pouring into this relationship. You're the only one that's thinking about this relationship. You're the only one that's praying for this relationship to happen or to stay on course or to keep. It's not going to be one-sided. It's going to be both sides, because like I said, you're going to know if you're a woman. You're going to know if you're a man. You're going to know. You're just going to know. You're just going to know. And that leads me to my next point, which is a knowing. The love that God has for you, the love that's coming to you, is coming with a knowing. So that's the third point. You're just going to know. I remember talking to a friend of mine before he got married a couple years ago, and I asked him, really all of my friends, I was just like, how did you guys know that she was the one? My two guy friends that are married now, I love you, Albert and Stevie. And I remember my friend, one of them really waited a couple years before he ended up getting the woman that he really wanted. But they're married now, have a beautiful daughter. But he was willing to wait years on this to come to pass, because he's like, my heart, I know, in my spirit, I know, in my soul, that this woman. So he had that Jacob kind of fight for this love kind of down on the inside of him. And I'm so happy that he did, because they have a beautiful story now, you know, because he was faithful to what God had placed in his heart. He knew that she was his even before she did. So he waited. I'm not talking about all this creepy stuff. I'm not talking about weird stuff. I'm not talking about 100 people or 20, 30 different people telling you, because I've had that happen to me. I've had about 15 men tell me that they were my husbands and they knew all of this. But if God doesn't put that knowing in me, then I delete everything that you're saying, and it goes to the back of my head. It don't even stay in my head. I just dismiss it. And some I did have to block because it got really, really weird. So a knowing, but the knowing is going to be, like I said, both ways. And even if a man or the woman knows before, they're not going to force you to know. They're not going to force you to get it. They're not going to force you, you see what I'm saying, to like to understand that they're from God and constantly messaging you, constantly texting you, constantly calling you, or constantly stalking you, or popping up everywhere that you are. No, I just don't believe in all that. I just believe in natural flowing love. And when it was time, when God opened up her eyes and let her know that, hey, this is it, they fit, they got married, and they have a child now, and that's the end of the story. But he didn't force this upon her. He told me, because I was his friend, but he was like, I'm going to wait on God and see if what I'm having and feeling in my heart is going to come to pass. But he said it was something down within his spirit that just, it wouldn't let him let go of that. It wouldn't let him let go of that hope. It wouldn't let him let go of that dream. So it was a knowing. It came to pass. So now we know it was a knowing that the Lord placed on the inside of him, not to walk away from that. So it's going to be a knowing, whether it's both parties. Sometimes both people know, and y'all just looking around being awkward and smiling and waiting for time to catch up with what you already know. And then other times, one person may know before the other person, and you got to wait for them to catch up. But I do want to tell you this. God is not a God of torment. Okay? He's just not a God of torment. I just don't believe that. He is not going to put you in a place where you feel like you're being tormented, or where you feel like, God, this is confusing. This is, how can this be for me when it's blah, 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 blah. Some things, I think that we go a little bit too deep sometimes, you know, and we really have got to be careful that we see and hear clearly from God, because God, when he speaks and when he talks, it comes with confirmations, and not just confirmations in the spirit, but it comes with confirmations in the natural. There's going to be some kind of movement in the natural. It's not going to be all spirit, because guess what? You'll be saying this is this and this is that in the spirit, and then 3-4 years down the line, you've been wasted your love life, you know, looking at this one person thinking that this is it, that this is of God, and it never comes to pass, because it never was. So we have to be really, really careful that we don't go too deep with that, because at the end of the day, a vision or a dream that comes to pass, that is of God, because it came to pass. That's how you know the difference between something that's not of God, something that was just all in your head, something that you maybe have went to sleep one night and thought about this person too much and had a dream. You may have blah, 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 and did something else and ate some fried chicken and greens and went to sleep and had a crazy dream because of hormones that was in the food or whatever. I don't know. But I'm just saying that we have got to be careful and not go too deep with this thing, because at the end of the day, I believe that when a person is for you, it's going to manifest in the natural. It's not going to all be spiritual, baby. So I just want to help some of y'all there who may be going through that. Even me, myself. I just want to help us, you know, to just know that it's not going to be... It's nothing wrong with having visions and things like that. But at some point, you just got to know that it may not be God. It may just be you. So be delivered and be set free from whatever spirit of fantasy, whatever that was that tried to give you false hope, false visions, false dreams. And I'm going to do a separate prayer for that another day. Not today, but another day. But just be careful with that, because sometimes you think you may know and you really, really don't know. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't manifest in the natural, then guess what? Nothing. It means nothing. Every vision, every dream, every whatever, it means nothing. It got to manifest in the natural to mean something. Okay? So there's going to be a knowing, but it's going to be, I feel like it should be on both sides. Or even if it is one person, the natural is going to catch up. Like my friend, the girl, it caught up eventually. It wasn't him going 5, 6, 7, 8 years waiting on this. That's just foolishness. It's too much confusion. It was like a year or two, and then she caught up, and then, hey, they're married now. Because it was time. So we do have to wait on the timing of God. Don't rush the timing of God. But also, when it's been a long, long time, y'all really need to go back into prayer, and you feel like God has told you something. Go. It's nothing wrong with going back to God in prayer and asking him again. Ask him again. And make sure, that you're hearing right, that you're on the right path, lest you wake up 5, 10 years down the line and you've wasted your entire love life and you've turned down men or women who could have been great men or women to marry just because you thought this thing that God showed you, but it never came to pass in the natural. Okay, so that's that. I want to go to number 4. You are about to meet the reason that your standards were never too high. I have been in love situationships in the past, and I was like, God, what is going on? Like, is it really me? And I used to always think it was me. My standards are too high. Maybe I should come down. Maybe I should. The love that God has for you is going to be proof that your standards were never too high. Y'all hear me? So if you want a good morning text in the morning and this guy is disappearing for 3 or 4 days and not texting you good morning, he can pop up on somebody else's stuff, but he don't never pop up on yours. So that's just not of God. You're going through torment, through torture. You're trying to force stuff to work that's just not coming to pass. It's just not working. Let it go. You don't have to bring yourself down. If you want faithfulness, if you want kindness, if you want loyalty, if you want caring, a person that's going to care for you, that's going to take care of their heart like they're going to take care of their own body, and a person that's going to put you first after God, then that's what you have to get. You have to keep on going until you get that. Don't settle in the wilderness. Go for the promise and go for the promised land that God has for you, because even if you settle and you think, okay, well, at least I'm not alone. I've heard women say this before. I got somebody, at least I ain't alone. But I'm looking and I'm like, but he's cheating on you. And I'm looking and I'm like, but you're up at night, stalking his social media. I'm looking at you and I'm going, but he's not calling you. He's not taking you out on dates. Oh yeah, he can pop up at midnight to go to bed with you, but that's it. So I don't want to, I'm just not going to settle. So we are about to meet a love that lets us know that our standards were never too high. The things that you asked for, I just had to rewrite a list last week about my husband just so I wouldn't get confused, and I'm going to talk to y'all about this story one day, not today, a few months from now, maybe later when God released me to talk about it with that spirit of fantasy and that stuff, because we got to get delivered from that. Church women, single women of God, we got to get delivered from that. But yeah, I just had to rewrite my husband list the other day so that when men come, because they're coming, and I'm just like, God, I don't want to get confused. I don't want to get blah, 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 blah. I don't want to think something is of you and it's not. I don't want to date these men and then I'm confused. So I wrote a list, and on this list, it details the specifics about my husband, how he's going to be, how he's going to treat me, how he's going to come into my life without confusion, without torment, without dibbling and dabbling back and forth, without all of that. So that ain't my husband. So that's just how I the list that I wrote, because I'm like, God, I don't got time for foolishness. So that's just the place that I'm in now. That's just the place. You just got to grow up sometimes and let the foolishness go. Amen. So I had to rewrite this list so I won't be confused. And ladies, you need to rewrite a list, and not a list like not a list like a perfect list. Like, I gotta have a man that's 6'2". I gotta have a man that's 220 pounds, that's 8-pack. Not that kind of superficial list, but a list like, I want a man that's kind. I want a man that's sweet. I want a man that's loyal. I want a man that's going to respect me. I want a man that's going to put me in our relationship first after God. I want a man that's going to love his mom. I want a man, those kind of attributes. So I wrote my list last week, and I encourage all of you, even the men, to write a list for your wife as well. You can write, a woman that's loyal, a woman that's, that you're attracted to. There's nothing wrong with saying that, okay? Because we don't want no boogala-googalas coming, and then you got to force yourself to marry that because you forgot to put a man that's handsome. So I ain't talking about that, but the detailing and how he's going to look and all of that, you know, you don't have to get all that kind of deep with that. But just a man that you're attracted to, a woman that you're attracted to, and some of their characteristics. So when you get somebody that's red flags or somebody that's not doing anything that you got on your list, then you know, hey, that ain't for me. That ain't in my prayers. So baby, I gotta let you go, okay? And I gotta move on. Moving on to number, I don't know if this is number 4 or 5. I'm just gonna say moving on to the next point. So let's go. You are about to go into a love where right person, wrong time becomes the right person makes the timing right. Do y'all receive that? I received that. So many times when we're out here dating, you may feel like, I've heard stories like this where, man, it was the right person, but it was the wrong time, or God had to bring them back together years later. Or that's just sometimes an excuse that people use. They really know it's the wrong person. But say, for instance, if it is the right person, but it's just the wrong timing. Well, we're talking about entering a situation where the timing, you may be like, man, I don't have everything that I thought I would have. I'm not exactly who I thought I would be before I get married or before I get this person. But God is telling me to tell you guys that the right person makes the timing right. They make your life better. They add to you. They don't take away. They don't drown you in darkness. They don't drown you in sorrow. The blessings of God maketh one rich, and they come without sorrow. So the right person is going to make the timing seems right. So you don't no longer have to go and be like, oh, it was the right person, but I just wasn't ready. No, God himself is going to help the two of you get ready to receive each other. So all of this, I got to wait on the Lord, and all of this, years and years are passing and you're still holding on to a man or something. He got to wait on the Lord. None of that confusion stuff. We're just moving forward and believing that when he sees you, when you guys talk and date, he's just going to know. And whether it's 100, first of all, there's no such thing as the perfect time. I just want to get that out there. There is a such thing as an appointed time, which is the timing of God. But there's no such thing as I'm going to be 100% perfect, 100% got my everything right, 100% rich, 100% everything I wanted to be. There's no such thing. You're never going to be perfect. And then the love that God gives you comes with grace anyway. So we have to stop making this fake thing like I have to be at this pinnacle before I can get the love that God has for me. God, that's a lot of foolishness. That's just a lot of craziness, you know, and it's not biblical. It's just not. You're ready to receive the love that God has for you when God says you're ready, not when you think you're ready. Because sometimes you can think you're ready, and then you're not ready, and you need a couple more months, a few more years for you to be processed to receive that healthy love, not toxic, but healthy love that he has for you. And sometimes when you say you're not ready, you actually are ready for your God ordained spouse and for your kingdom mate and the one that's going to walk alongside you and help you into your purpose. So I just wanted to pick up there. Like I said, I hate that I watched that video because now I'm like, I don't know where I was. But anyway, I don't hate it. It was good. But at the same time, I could have waited because now I'm like, I was recording a video and stop what I was doing. But anyway, you are about to enter into a love where you don't have to negotiate what you want in order to keep that love around. So many times people are negotiating their worth. You're bringing yourself down to a lower level. You're doing things that God doesn't want you to do. You're sinning, and you will never have to sin to get anything that God has for you. I just want to put that out there. I want to say that again. You will never have to sin or become a lesser version of yourself to get the love that God has ordained for you to have. It's just not going to happen. So the love that is coming for you, you won't have to negotiate with it. Okay. I don't mean compromise, because the person is not going to be perfect. They're not going to get into your mind and understand every little detail it is about you without talking to you, without knowing you. So they're not just going to know everything about you 100% off the bat. But I mean that the things that you want won't have to be negotiated with them. So like if you want, a husband or a wife that's going to blah, 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 spend time with you 2 days out of the week or 1 day out of the week in order for the relationship to work. That won't have to be negotiated. You won't have to go 3, 4, 5 weeks without seeing this person, and it's whenever it's convenient for them. No, that's not of God. So you're going to be able to get into a love that you won't have to negotiate your price in order to receive it. So if your price is faithfulness, if your price is kindness, if your price is respect, you won't have to give up respect in order to keep this man or this woman around. Okay? So that's the next one. Let's go ahead, and I'm almost done. I think I got 2 more points, y'all, and then we're going to be done with this. Okay? You are entering a love where excuses, discounts, and mixed signals are no longer on the menu. None of this flaky jakey stuff. When Jacob came, he was on the field. Look, he was on the farm, the field, wherever they was back then. He was on that thing for a month. And he went to Laban. When Laban asked him, hey, what is your price? He went to Laban and he's like, yo, I want Rachel. It took him 30 days to know that he wanted Rachel and not Leah. 30 days. So it don't take a man all of this time, all of this years, all of this. I got to talk to God and hear from God. You should be hearing from God even before you approach me. You should have heard from God before you asked for my number. And even if you didn't, okay, by the time we've talking and had a few conversations, you need to be hearing something. God needs to be leading you to do something or either leading you away from me, because God is not a God of confusion. So mixed signals, that goes back to that hot and cold thing I was talking about earlier. That's not of God. You having to compete, that's not of God. So we're just debunking all of that you're going to have to put up with these things to get who God has for you. I don't believe in demonic testing. That's what I'm going to call it. It's when, ladies, we know what it is. It's when you get with a person and then out of nowhere, they keep testing you. It's no reason. Life is not making them test you. Things are not happening. They're causing things to happen. They're making this happen for whatever reason in their head. They want drama. They like toxicity. And when you're a healthy person and you're a person that's healed, then not perfect, but healed. Healed people see different from people who are still traumatized, from people who are still unhealed. So when it comes to love, I feel like, oh, I'm healed in that area. Y'all already know. Now in other areas, like, I just saw my father after 19 years. That's a little bit different. That has been a wound for years, that even when I felt like I was healed and I forgave him, I really didn't as much as I thought I did, but now I have, and we're beginning a new leaf. We're starting over fresh, and it's gonna be great. We're just gonna pick up, where God wants us to pick up, and we're just gonna do the thing. And it's just gonna be, it is what it is, and you have to love people right where they are. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about wounds like that, because even the relationship with my father, it never got in the way of how I looked at another man, because I take on this persona, well, not this persona, but I take on this idea that everyone has a blank canvas, and they should. That's the right way to date. Everyone has a blank canvas until they put paint and pour stuff on it. Once you put that stuff on it, your own thing, your own insecurities, your own troubles, your own shortcomings, you're just throwing green paint, blue paint, yellow paint, pink paint, red paint, and you're messing up this canvas to a point to where I don't even know what you're painting anymore, to a point where I'm confused, to a point where this is mixed signals, to a point where I have to feel like this is more toxic than it is healthy. Then I walk away, and because I've seen all that I needed to see. And once a person shows you who they are, I don't give you another blank canvas. I don't give you another chance to prove to me that everything that you painted on this first canvas was inaccurate. No, you painted who you really were the first time around. So I don't stay around and give you a chance to repaint yourself. Once I see the first picture that you painted for me, and it's not a picture that I'm rocking with, this is not a relationship that I'm rocking with, I'm out. It's just that simple. And we have to date that way. And it keeps me healthy as far as when it comes to the idea of love. It keeps me healthy. It keeps me knowing what I want and what I'm going to get out of a relationship, okay? It keeps me at a place where I'm not going to settle. Even if this canvas turned out to be messy, a little too messy than I can handle, because some people can handle handle that. Some people, regardless of how peaceful things are going in their life, regardless of them having everything that they want, some people, I have known this to be true, have to have drama. They just do. And those are not my kind of people. I'm a person that regardless of all the hell that goes on in my life, regardless of the broken relationships, regardless of the crying, the tears, the bad life I've lived so far, I'm thanking God that it's going to turn out to be good, and believing him and having faith. But the life that I have lived that has been kind of shot, kind of crazy, I still have peace. But some people are the complete opposite. Nothing is going on with them, but they love drama. So those are not my kind of people, because regardless of what goes on around me, I'm a person that believes in peace. So if I can't have peace, I was telling someone this the other day, you should not have to escape your relationship by going to the world. But you should want to go to your relationship to escape the world. So it's a problem when I have to go out to the club. I don't club, y'all know that. But I'm just giving an example. It's a problem when I have to go chill with my girls. It's a problem when I have to go shopping all day long and I don't want to come back home to you. It's a problem when I have to go take a trip on the other side of the world because I want to escape this relationship. It's a problem when I have to go to the bar to escape the person that I feel like God has said he wants me to be with, or a person that I feel like, hey, God, this is the one. God is not an author of confusion. A lot of this stuff, unhealed stuff, people got to get healed before you're ready to receive the love that God has for you. It's just that simple. We have to be healed, okay? We just got to be healed. It is what it is. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move on with the next point. But God is not giving you a person it's going to be mixed signals. It's going to be confusing. It's going to be one day this, one day that. It's going to have you all over the place in your emotions. I just don't believe that. I'm sorry. I've gotten to a point where I just don't believe that. I just don't believe that. And thank God for deliverance. Okay, so let's go to the next point. You are entering a relationship that is going to make all of hell nervous. When God puts two people together, it's for his glory. When God puts two people together, it's for his kingdom, to bring his kingdom from heaven down onto earth. When God puts two people together, it's for his will. It's not just for them to be cute. It's not just because they fine. It's not just because they're this or they're that. Those things are just, I always say this, they're just perks. Because at the end of the day, if you strip a man from all of that, if you strip and take away all of that, and that person is naked before you and they have nothing, would you still want them then? Would you still want to be in the marriage then? Would you still want to be in that relationship then? Some people are after the wrong reasons, and it is what it is. It's life. It's people. They do that it's just people. I just can't go into depth with that, but it's just people. And that's okay. But just because they're after you for the wrong reasons doesn't mean that you have to fall into the trap. Right? That's even with me. Guys, different guys, just, oh, okay, she's pretty, she can sing, blah, blah, whatever reasons. And just because they were after me for the wrong reasons doesn't mean that I have to entertain it. Okay? So I just wanted to put that there. When God puts you with somebody, it's going to be for his glory. And he's going to literally breathe on the relationship that he wants you in. So if he's not breathing on it, if it's being tore up to the flow up, if it's hell on earth and you have no peace, it's not making your relationship with Christ stronger, but it's making it weaker, that's probably not of God. Okay? So we got to be delivered right there. The last point, and I'm done. You are entering a love that's going to go beyond what you could have ever imagined. Okay? You are entering a love that's going to be beyond what you could have ever imagined. Ever. What you could have ever dreamed. What you could have ever thunk up. What you could have ever whatever. It's going to be amazing. When God gives promises, he always goes exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask for. He never just gives us just what we want, but he gives you what you need. And what you need becomes what you want in the end. And not only that, but he goes above and beyond. He don't just give you a little piece of land. He give you all of this. He don't just give you a husband or a wife that's pretty and that's a Christian, but he gives you a husband or wife that can support you, that can love you, that can care for you. He goes above and beyond. He doesn't just give you a job, but he makes you the head of that job, or he promotes you. And like, he doesn't just give you, when he did Joseph, raised him up out of the pit. That's the kind of stuff that has God's handprint on it. When he blessed Jacob and Abraham, and they had to split separate ways because they had so much blessings, but he obeyed first, and he left everything that God told him to leave behind. He left it behind, and look at what happened to Abraham. He was blessed beyond measure. So many seed that he can't even count it, like the sand, like the stars. But that's what God promised him. He didn't just give him Isaac, he gave him a nation. So God always goes above what you can ask or think. So God's handprint is going to be on the relationship. Sometimes I have heard people say this, and this is a beautiful thing, but they can be overwhelmed. Like, you're not expecting a person this understanding. You're not expecting a person that loves you this much. You don't expect a person that is going to fight for you this hard, that's going to fight, for you guys that hard, that's going to pray for you this much, that's going to fast for you to make sure you stay on the straight and narrow. Like, you're just thinking, oh, I'm going to get this, but God literally blows your mind with the promises that he gives you. That's his handprint. That's how you know it's of him. It blows your mind that he could give you somebody this awesome, this great. And they're not going to be perfect, but they're going to be your person. So they're going to be perfect for you and for the will of God and for the will of God concerning you. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go. I still feel like I should have maybe wrote some notes and had some scriptures. I really wanted to get on here to talk to you guys about love so that you won't confuse what God sends and what the enemy sends, and distractions and things like that. Don't pay attention to it, because, even me recently, I've had a few things that have tried to come up and distract. And I'm just at a point now where I'm not falling for it. Like, I'm just not going for it. I'm not believing it. I'm just going to keep my eyes focused on the Lord, not even on what I feel like he promised me, but just on him. Because at the end of the day, God is going to fulfill his promise in his time. And not only in his time, but he's just going to go exceedingly abundantly above all that I could ask or think. Even when I feel like he's forgotten. So for those of you who feel like God has forgotten about you, Valentine's Day was yesterday. Maybe it was a little bit rough and things like that. Don't let a day get you out of the will of God. We're too old for that. Like, I'm 28 years old, y'all. I don't let Valentine's Day get me back in a situation that I know God has delivered me from. I don't let Valentine's Day move my emotions to go text my ex from a year ago. I don't let Valentine's Day make me go hop and marry somebody who I know God didn't give me the clearance on. We're too old for that. Like, at what point are we just gonna obey God? And at what point are we just gonna take him at face value for the things that he promises, for the things that he said? We just have to wake up and stop walking in doubt. That's just the only thing I know to say. Start believing. Sometimes following Jesus is not fun. It's not. You have to kill your desires, your wants, for his desires and his wants, because you know that his thoughts are higher than yours. And sometimes we don't understand it. But when you're a son of God, you don't always have to understand what God is doing. I'm sure Abraham didn't understand when God told him to get up and leave his country and his hometown where he was comfortable at. Don't let comfortability kill your promise. I'm going to say that again. Don't let comfortability rob you of your future and kill your promise. So I just pray in this season that we have discernment, that we know what is of God and what isn't of God. And that we just get wisdom in this relationship thing, that we don't fall for the okie dokie anymore, that we don't, yeah, it's just a lot of things I got to pray about now. And I'm probably going to be off of social media for a while. So if y'all need me, just text me. If you don't have my number, just inbox me and I'll get back to you when I get back to you, probably within the next week. I'm probably going to take like a week off because I do need a break. I just need a break from social media. It's too much. But yeah, y'all pray for me. Keep me in y'all prayers. I'm going to keep y'all in my prayers, all of my followers, all of my loves. And we're going to be okay. But the love that God has for us is coming. But it's coming at God's timing. And know that, like I said, his timing is the perfect timing. Not your timing, because your timing may not be perfect to you. You may have wanted to do more. You may have da-da-da-da. But God knows when you need what you need. He's not going to leave you in that place desolate longer than he knows that you can bear. Longer than he knows that this is not good for you. The Bible says it's not good for man to be alone. Amen. And that's just what he's giving me. That's just what he's telling me. It's not good. Now, you know when you get to a point, and it's not a lustful thing, but you know when you get to a point to where you're like, yo, this is literally not good. Like, being single is more detrimental than it is helpful, like it used to be. It used to be really helpful, set on fire, happy. But me, y'all, this is for me. I'm talking to myself. I'm just talking out loud. But started 9 years of abstinence next month and different things like that. And just being at a place where I'm just not, I don't know, just pray for me. It's just not good. It's just no longer good for me to remain unmarried. So God is going to fulfill his promise. He told me he was. He's going to fulfill it. But I just pray that you know the difference between the love that God gives you versus a love that you think God is giving you, and versus a love that that the enemy is trying to put in front of you, in your face, so that you can miss who God really has for you. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here. I pray that this video blessed you. I know that I was a little bit all over the place because, like I said, I stopped and watched somebody else's video and I should have kept going and ignored it. But yeah, guys, just be blessed. Know that God has not forgotten you. Know that he is faithful who promised. And know that whatever he has for you is for you regardless of what it looks like. We don't pay attention to circumstances, but our circumstances bow down to God. Amen. We don't bow down to our circumstances, but they bow down to God. So keep your eyes focused on God. Take a break from social media. Do whatever you need to do if you need to do, because that's what I'm going to do. As soon as I post this video, I'm gone for the next week or two. And just do whatever God is telling you to do. I love you guys and ladies, and I'm going to get out of here. But know this, that the love that God has for you is going to be sure of you. You won't be left in confusion, because confusion is not of God, okay? I love you, and I pray that you all are blessed, and I pray that this video blessed you, and I'm going to get out of here. Bye, guys.